Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to wait just about another minute to make sure that everybody is able to join us, and we'll get started right at 2 o'clock. All right, it looks like we're right at 2 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're really excited to see how many people we have in the audience today, and we appreciate everybody being here. Today, we're going to talk about our latest exciting integration with the Work Number from Equifax that helps you extend your reach with your employment verifications. I wanted to welcome you to the webinar and introduce you to Adrienne Borger, the Solutions Engineer over Verifications of Employment Service with the Work Number, as well as Catherine Bowling, who manages product here at Tenstreet, and I'm Elizabeth Sontag, Director of Product here at Tenstreet. Please know that the webinar will be recorded and sent to you afterwards, so if you're interrupted for any worries or any reason, no worries. You can expect to receive a recording of today's webinar within about 24 hours. Also, you can submit your questions at any time throughout the presentation and may do so by going to the text box under questions in your GoToWebinar panel. We'll try to get to these questions and as many of them as we can that are asked, but if for some reason we're not able to get to your question right away, we'll reach back out to you and make sure that we address any questions that you have. All right, so today with our webinar, we are going to cover a couple of things. We're going to talk about the Work Number from Equifax. We're also going to talk about how the integration works for you. We're going to see a demo of how it works within Tenstreet and also how to get started. And then at the end, we will address all questions that may come up. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Adrienne and we will go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. This is Adrienne Borger with Equifax, and I'm excited to speak with you all today in regards to the Work Number and a little bit of the backstory around what makes the Work Number unique and how this can help you obtain employment information to get your new hires onboarded more quickly. So when we look at the Work Number as its essence, the Work Number helps your employees or consumers really obtain instant decisions on their most important life needs. So imagine going to get a car or a mortgage or potentially needing an apartment or social service benefits. The Work Number is a place where different verifiers and different companies can access information to be able to pull data sets like verification or verification of income to be able to help that potential consumer obtain the loan or data set that they need. What that looks like and what makes the Work Number unique is we have over 25,000 organizations that contribute their records to the Work Number. This allows those results to be surfaced to some of those different organizations that I just mentioned. We have over 90 million active employee records. So what that means is it's current employment data that can help those potential consumers get the information they need. And when we look at the people accessing that information, we have over 425,000 credentialed verifiers. So the banks, the auto dealerships, you name it. Those are the individuals accessing this information to be able to use the Work Number to obtain that information for that consumer. This large data set really is comprised of over 83% of the Fortune 500. Just like Tenstreet, we are also fully FCRA compliant. We are also the only service approved by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for automated income validation. So think about your potential employees going to get a home loan. That's a big area, as well as being the only service integrated with the federal government, including the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare and Housing and Urban Development Department. Because all of these data assets, it makes the Work Number extremely unique because we're able to fulfill more instant verifications in a day than some of the other competitors out there that can help verify employment for your employees. How this relates, though, to verification of employment is because verification of employment is simply powered by the Work Number. So the data assets in the data that's returned is derived from those different payroll and employment records. So on the left, our data assets that are returned include job titles. You need that to verify employment for your potential new hires. Company names, where did they work at last? Addresses, start and end dates, tenures, current employment status, which includes are they actively working and what's their inactive status from previous employers. Today, this is also available via instant access and 24/7 online at theworknumber.com. Some of you might be familiar with accessing our site that way today if you're currently utilizing our service. And this is also information that's updated every payroll cycle. All of those contributors that I mentioned before, through payroll providers, we're getting that data to be able to update this and make it the largest central source of current employment information in the U.S. with millions of records nationwide. If we are unable to return results from the Work Number and we don't have that data that's available, we also can do a research verification that can typically be returned within 1 to 2 business days. And what that will return is the exact same data sets that you would get from an instant verification. So return job titles, company names, addresses, start and end dates, etc. So because of the Work Number, we're able to surface the information for verifications of employment for your potential new hires so that new drivers and new people coming on board to your organization can get on the road faster. How does this all work? Really, the Work Number helps streamline the transfer of information between an employer and a verifier. And in this case, you as the employer are the verifier. What this does is it ultimately benefits the potential employee by creating an accelerated decision process. We know today in this extremely hard and tight economy, especially in the transportation industry, getting people in the door quicker is what every organization needs. And we do that by how the Work Number works. So if you follow from left to right, the employer will provide data each pay cycle. What that means is we get the information potentially from the employer itself or from the payroll provider. For the employer, what that means is they're completely removed from that process, so they don't take on the burden of verifying the information themselves. It helps reduce verification requests that are going into HR departments and really a lot of labor hours that are obtained from that. That information is sent to the Work Number, the verification that's accessed and is available 24/7. It's encrypted and at rest and in transit. That information, say potentially Elizabeth is going to obtain a mortgage, is then sent to the bank. So that credentialed verifier can pull her information that she, yes, has an employment that's current and potentially look at her income. During that process, she gives the verifier at the bank consent, of course, because this is an FCRA regulated consumer report, to be able to pull that information. And what that means is it helps that individual be able to receive that loan quicker. On the bottom, you can see the benefits to the employer and the payroll provider. It helps improve accuracy and liability around the entire verification process. Like I said, it helps reduce verification requests into HR and labor hours. For the employee, it increases transparency and also eliminates the need to show paper documents and paper information within that, already strenuous and long loan process. These credential verifiers are also very reviewed in regards to being able to provide permissible purpose in that process to be able to verify employment and our income. We verify all of those verifiers in regards to what location they're at, who's pulling the information, to ensure for the employer or the employee, you can feel confident on who's accessing that information in regards to your employment and income. Now, when you combine all of the information about how it's unique and how it can help verifications of employment, this is now expanded with a partnership with Tenstreet. We are allowing organizations that use both of our solutions to be able to request and generate that information now all delivered within the Tenstreet platform. So if you're potentially a customer today, you could be utilizing our website and the Tenstreet recruiting module, and it's kind of cumbersome. Right now, with this new integration, we are able to provide efficient access to that verified employment information within one workflow. It makes recruiting and getting verified information for employment and for your drivers much more quick. The reports are also much more comprehensive, right? Because the results of the work number are going to be updated for you at the applicant level inside the system. So what this means is when you're looking at self-reported information from the potential applicant or the driver, we can now surface to you any inconsistencies or omissions that were not reported. That information will then be added to the application as an information update. If the company name doesn't match exactly, or potentially the dates don't match up, the system is going to provide a corrected stubbed-in record for you. So now, no more manually updating that information inside the applicant level within Tenstreet if you're currently utilizing both of our services. And with that, I'm really excited to share with you guys that Catherine's going to go through a demonstration of how the Tenstreet and the work number partnership work inside the Tenstreet platform. And Catherine, I'm going to pass presentership over to you.
All right, thank you, Adrienne. Let me get that lined up for you guys. All right, so I am now going to show you just how easy it is to go ahead and request an employment verification from the work number from right within your Tenstreet dashboard. There are two ways that you are able to do this within your dashboard. The first way is going to be similar to the way that you're already requesting employment verifications for a subject, and that'll be when a subject discloses an employer on their application who we know verifies employment through the work number. The second way that you can run the work number on an applicant is even if they don't disclose an employer on that application who uses the work number to verify employment, and we're going to show you how you can run it on any and every subject. So the first way, you can see here, I'm processing Tyler Collins, and I'd like to run him through the work number. So the first thing I'll do is come up to process. I'll come down to the exchange tab, and you can see here he worked for Kim's Trucking, who does provide employment verifications through the work number. I'll come over, select employment data because that's what the work number provides. If you check drug and alcohol and accident by mistake or you just forget, that's okay, but just know that you'll only get employment data back. I'll request these items. All of the information, just like normal, is pulled in from the application that's on file. I'll add the request and send that off just as normal. Easy peasy, that's it. Tyler is done. Next, I'm going to process Joe. Just like Tyler, I'll come over to process and then down to exchange, but you can see that none of the employers that Joe disclosed on his application verify employment through the work number. I think Joe maybe has some additional employers though, so I'd like to go ahead and run him through the work number. So once again, I'll go up to process, over to the exchange tab, and then you'll see this actions drop down here in the corner. When I open this up, I see an option for the work number request. And when I select that, it places an order, gives me the order ID right there, and then it will also update with a time and date stamp the last time that I placed an order for the work number for this applicant. Now, when results are returned from the work number, we store those in a couple of different places. The first place that you will see these results returned is going to be in this completed exchange requests. When you come in here, you can see the request that I just sent off for Tyler. And when I come down here, I can see the blank request. Now this will remain blank just until results are returned from the work number, which could take up to maybe about 5 minutes. And after that has come back, we will actually stub in all of the information that's returned from the work number. An example of this, let's go over here, is you can see here, under the supporting documents, this is an example of what the results will look like when they're returned from the work number. You'll have your employee, their social, and then all of their employers.
The second place that you'll find these stored is when you're back in the subject view. If you go over to the subject's documents and scroll down to the exchange system documents, you'll see the work number request that's sent off. And then again, once those results come in, we will replace the blank request with those returned results. This is a demo site, so unfortunately I can't show you just how seamless that transition is, but just know that when you place the request for a very short period of time, you'll have the request and then it will be stubbed in with the actual results. Now sometimes, like Adrian said, applicants don't always disclose all of their employment. When that happens, and it does, sometimes the work number will bring back employers that you did not know a subject had. In that case, we'll do a couple of things. The first thing that we will do is enter those new employers found by the work number onto an updated app, and you can see this here was updated by the work number. So we will copy all of the employers that were disclosed on an application, and then we'll also add in the ones that were not disclosed by the work number. When we do that, we automatically create a request so that you don't have to go in and manually request verifications on those. So you can see here, Enterprise USA Financial State. Joe did not disclose those on his application. It was returned by the work number, so we went ahead, created a request for that, and then stubbed in the request and the results that were returned by the work number. And that's it. It really is that simple to run the work number on your applicants from right within your Tenstreet dashboard. I know what you're all thinking. The first question that everybody has is, okay, but how do I get started? We're going to make that very simple. To get started, all you will need to do is reach out to either your Tenstreet account manager or your Equifax account manager if you're a current client with them. And those account managers will be able to let you know those next steps and what we'll need to get this integration set up for you.
All right, great. Thank you guys both. We have a couple of questions that are coming in, so I'm going to start with the questions. Again, if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask, you can go over to your GoToWebinar control panel and enter those in, and we'll try to get to those as quick as we can. So the first question is, if they use the free version of Tenstreet, will they need to pay for work number verifications, or is this available in the free version of Tenstreet? And the question is for that it does require you to be an enterprise client of Tenstreet, so you would have to have access to Express as well. We had somebody that asked if you could show an example of one that isn't a trucking company, which with the process, it works the same whether it is a trucking or a non-trucking. So you can pretend like it was not a trucking company, but the process is still the same regardless of that. We have a question for the work number. It says the work number does not verify DOT information, correct?
That is correct. We do not verify DOT information.
Okay. We have another question that asks, do all work number generic requests in Exchange go away?
Yes, they will. Unfortunately, it's a demo system, and so you guys get the privilege of seeing every time I've practiced this. But in reality, when this is set up in your dashboard, those generic requests, will go away and will be stubbed in with those results.
Here's a question for, it says, can you track through normal billing through Equifax?
Yes, the billing is still the same. Once you're contracted with us, you do have to have an agreement in order to run the integration through Tenstreet. Once that is set up, the billing is still the same, and we are able to define users and locations and things like that.
And another billing question is just a question about cost for the VOEs through the work number.
Sure. So we are based on a scale of volume. So reach out to your Equifax account manager if you have one, or if you have a Tenstreet account manager, you can reach out to them who can get either Catherine or Elizabeth in touch with me in order to find the right account manager at Equifax to be able to assist you on what that scale of volume will look like from a cost perspective.
Okay, and another question I have is, can we limit the amount of time for the employment that returns back from the work number? So for instance, on the setup side, on the work number side, can they say, I only want to see employment for the last 3 years, or does it just go back regardless of how long it was?
Great question. So we're focused on the Social Security number, which is what triggers. So the information that's returned on that SSN is what's given back to you. It's not designated to a certain time. It's how many previous employers are available with that Social Security number that will be returned.
Okay. Right. And just to reinforce, it says who does the invoicing. The invoicing and all of that is still handled through your account on the work number side. All right. There are tons and tons of questions, so I'm trying to get to them all. Some of them are duplicates, so I hope that we've answered your questions. And again, if we missed any or we looked over any, we'll reach out to you guys to make sure that we address those. Yeah, it looks like we kind of got them all. If you guys have any other questions or if we missed any, we'll definitely reach out to you guys. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. If we can be of any help, reach out to your account managers at Tenstreet. If the work number can be of any help and you have an account manager there, please reach out to them as well. We will talk with you guys soon, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.